FL Studio just dropped its brand new AI chord generator. If you want to download this, you're just going to have to go to FL Studio and you should be able to download the new version that's not out yet, but it's the beta version, so you should be able to get that if you really want to test this ahead of time, but this should be dropping pretty soon. So basically, this is the generate button. It's pretty much just one button. Here you right click and then edit and choose your root note and your scale. This is the start and stop button and a solo button for the instrument. Conventional will give you chords that are more conventional or used more often, and adventurous will generate chords that aren't really that used and are kind of wonky, but that's why it's adventurous. So yeah, I mean, not too terrible, but I think I like more of a conventional sound. And if you don't like the way that the chord sounds, you can actually go to the chord itself, go down to this arrow pointing down, left click, and there's a variety of different options that you could choose if you want to change it. At this wrench, you could choose whether you want to hear just the main part or the bass as well. Here you can choose how many chords you want to be generated and the length of the chord here, which you just have to click this arrow pointing two ways to make sure that the chord actually does resize to that length. I'm going to keep it to the bar. Next, if you want to actually edit the chord itself without going to the piano roll, but like the whole thing, because it's grouped together, the amount in which you move it. So if you want to move it only like half a step at a time, that's definitely possible, or an entire bar if you wanted. I would just recommend keeping it to a step so you can get pretty decent precision with where you place it, or just go back into the piano roll and click Alt, which is also possible here too. And guys, once you go back after you're done using the AI, you're just going to want to click Alt and G after you select all your notes, and that'll ungroup them so that then you can edit individual notes and add more rhythm or complexity to it. Here you can change if you want to see the Roman numerals or just the regular notes. You can choose presets from either major or minor scales and the type of rhythm. You can actually input your own progression, but I wouldn't really use this. I don't see the point of this because if I was going to make my own progression, I would just lay it out on the piano roll. Unless I was like copying, pasting, and I only had that piece of information, that's the only time I would really use that. So the more left you put this, the lower the temperature, which is just a knob to determine how unusual or how normal the sound will sound. So to the left is more normal and to the right is more unusual. And non-diatonic notes, if you have this over to the right, then it'll start to include notes that are actually not within the scale that you're playing. So that probably won't sound too good unless you know exactly what note that you're going to borrow. And these two knobs change when you go from adventurous to conventional. So the more conventional will only use diatonic notes, which are the notes again included in the scale that you're playing. That's why adventurous can kind of sound wonky. You can choose what type of genre you're going for as well. And this fader determines how much you're going to be mixing both styles together. If we go back up here, if we look at the chord and we scroll up on this arrow, it'll take either the bottom note or the top note depending on if you're going up or down and put it up an octave. And it does that for each time you do it. This lock will make it so that if you click regenerate, the chord won't change. And this arrow just regenerates this one chord. This button determines if there's a bass note. In the advanced setting, you can go to 2 notes per chord, and it'll only have 2 notes plus the bass note. This knob determines how likely to repeat. Increasing this determines how much of a difference there'll be based on context. This determines how much the AI takes into account the metric position of a chord, and a few other parameters which aren't too important. You're also able to drag these chords if you want to like change the area that they're being played. This B one, I kind of want to reset it just to see if I get something different. So I like that. Maybe I could put that there. Make sure you drop a like and follow for more.